Imagine a guy whose legs work perfectly, and yet one day he looks through the window of a wheelchair shop and he says, "Oh, I like this one," and he decides to buy it. And then for months he sits on that wheelchair and uses it to get around. At first it seems like he's getting to his appointments quicker and much easier. People begin to commend him on how fast he is and how pretty his wheelchair is. He decides to show it off by decorating it with colorful badges so that he's easily recognizable as he approaches. Soon he relies on this wheelchair, and that becomes his identity. And he cannot even perceive who he is without it. And then one day, a visitor, a total stranger, comes to his village and sees him on the wheelchair and says, "What's your disability?" He looks offended and says, "What do you mean? I'm not disabled." The visitor then asks him, "So why are you on a wheelchair? Doesn't your legs work?" The man looks at the visitor confused. "What legs are you talking about? This is me. This is how I've always been." The man had forgotten that there was a time when he walked perfectly with his own legs and never used a wheelchair. The stranger then tries to show him that he does have legs and he just needs to make them work again. He begins to moan and groan, but eventually he allows the stranger to help him up. But as soon as the stranger tries to pull him up, he slumps back down into the wheelchair. And even though we all know that this man has no disability at all, but years and years of relying on the wheelchair has now made his own true limbs weak and unable to support him. Now, why am I telling you this story? Many of us today are exactly like that guy on his fancy wheelchair. At first, it's convenient, it's new and different. It looks like it eases all the things we need to do by ourselves. It's making life easier for us. No need to think for yourself. No need to decipher what's going on. No need to apply your own tool of discernment. Don't worry, just sit on your wheelchair. AI will do it for you. ChatGPT will tell you the answer. Or you could just Google it and you will find your answer there. You will end up relying on it so much so that you never use your legs, which in this case is your intuitive consciousness, which, by the way, already knows wrong from right, already knows truth from lies. But you rather shut down your own tool and make it redundant. And instead you wear this hat of modern day intellectuals who have now used the intellect to collate a host of information that is entered into a database, which then delivers it to your own internet fast and easy. And they've also hijacked the word intelligence, which then plays into your ego mind so that you believe that whatever it spews out to you is indeed correct and factual. Because after all, it is artificial intelligence. But did you hear what I just said? Artificial. Let your soul hear that again. It's not natural intelligence. It's not spiritual intelligence. It's not the supreme intelligence. It is the artificial one. Done. That's all you need to know. So if you only rely on the intellectual jargons that's there for you to consume, and you neglect the voice of your own spirit because it sounds simple and easy to understand, you need ChatGPT to perfect it and deliver it in the right way. But where's your soul in it? Where's your truth in it? Where's your experience? AI cannot add that, and we will know. Those of us not sitting on the fancy wheelchair, that are using our own legs, those with perfectly working legs, they can't understand the gibberish because it's not from the soul. Today, I see grown men with their own thinking faculties running to AI to find simple answers to everyday questions. Questions that are presented to them and requiring answers from the soul. Remember, it is a tool that's designed to massage your intellect, and true knowledge can never be found through these means. Try as you wish, it will never come from an intellectual tool that's designed by the Matrix to keep you redundant and reliant on their own machine. As long as it is designed and limited to time and space, it will always be artificial, but not intelligent. And it will teach you nothing for your soul, because true intelligence lies much higher than where we are. So not until you get up from that wheelchair that they're offering you for free and walk using your own given abilities, you cannot find true knowledge. It can only be found through a heightened spiritual consciousness. And AI and ChatGPT is another new distraction that's moving you gradually away from that consciousness, away from you looking within for your own answers. But instead, it wants you to ask it any question at all, whilst it's purporting to be your new God that is intelligent and can answer all the questions. If you can't see it, wait. It's because it's early days. You're already sitting on your wheelchair to disaster. If your spiritual consciousness was this small, it's about to shrink further in size because your fancy wheelchair has blocked all signals by which you can reason for yourself and decipher what is true. In the end, we are told that machines will replace the modern man. Yes, that is because those scrambling to be technologically advanced will bury themselves in the process. And yet, those who are working on strengthening their spiritual consciousness, which is exactly what man truly is, but has forgotten because of all these distractions of this his new intelligent God that he's worshipping daily. Anything that cannot further the spirit in creation will have to reach its peak and die off anyway. So be careful so that you are not swept away in this insane and exciting distraction from what truly matters in creation. The advancement, the growth, and the development of your spirit. You are on earth to use everything as a tool to get back to your spiritual home. A tool, not to be its slave, that you forget your own abilities, your very own spirit of discernment. So until next time, remember what the Buddhists say. Be careful what excites you. It's always fleeting and temporary. Seek the things that are unchanging and eternal. I'm not saying don't make use of technology, AI and ChatGPT. After all, we came to experience everything that's available. But it was for our spiritual growth, not to get distracted and become redundant slaves to something that can never bring us any spiritual upliftment. Some people are thinking right now, Sylvia, but we have to move with the times. Yes, we must be flexible and adapt to change. But change can also be to the detriment of your spirit. That is a stupid kind of change. Throughout history, we already know that fools who rush into everything, they end up in the swamp. So let's be careful with these free tools that we're being offered by the intellect. It may just keep us bound, and none of us wants that. So until next time, use technology wisely. Don't be a slave to it. Bye for now.